Hey, my friends, this is JB, and I'm here presenting wisdom. Wisdom for you. Wisdom, the Proverbs of Solomon. We're in chapter 14 today, and we're kicking it off. We're talking about a lot. We've got uh, much to cover, and today we had the Sunday service, we had the little children's, and we were pouring into them. It's so great to be able to pour into them in different ways. We are teaching them about Christ. We're teaching them what they should know, how they should look to Christ, and why they should look to Christ. It's tricky. When you start to talk about salvation, you talk about died on the cross. It's tough because a lot of kids don't really understand what that means. And so we try to simplify it as best we can. Challenging. But back to Solomon, back to the Proverbs, and what we're talking about is number 4. We've got a lot of them, but we'll look at, here's the 4th verse here. Where there are no oxen, the manger is clean. Meaning that, hey, look, if you guys don't have any animals to do any work, any people to do the work really, then the manger is clean. That means that it's going to be empty, but an abundant crop comes by the strength of an ox. So this one is basically tied in with itself, okay? Meaning that in order to get abundant crops, you need to put in some work. You need the strength of the ox, and that strength of the ox, you're going to have oxen who are in the manger. But if you don't have any manger, or if your manger is empty, it's going to be super clean, and essentially you basically don't have a workforce. So you're going to have to expect some busyness, and that's kind of a sign of health in some ways. Even having just some things strewn about, it's not a bad deal really, because that means your workforce is in place, and those are the small problems. Cleaning the manger is a small problem. The big problem is getting the manger stocked full of oxen, full of support. Okay, leave the presence of a fool. Okay, leave the presence of a fool. You don't want to be, you're in with a fool. You want to leave, and for there you do not meet words of knowledge. It's just not worth it. You simply leave the presence of a fool. What else can you say besides that? There is a way that seems right to man, but its end is the way to death. Well, man has all kinds of ways that make us seem like we know what we're doing. But I tell you what, its way oftentimes will lead straight to hell, straight to death. And we need to go through God's way. Verse 17, a man of quick temper acts foolishly. I am guilty as charged. JB's done this. And a man of evil devices is hated. Maybe I have too. I don't know about that. But the first part, quick temper. How do we slow down our temper? We don't slow down our temper by trying to stop. We do it by starting, by adding in what God has given us. Okay, God's given us truth, Jesus, these Proverbs, goodness. That is where we fill that up. We fill ourselves up with that. Guess what, my friends? That is a great recipe for something very good. Okay? Let's see what else we have. In the fear of the Lord, one has strong confidence, and his children will have refuge in the fear of the Lord. Lord, oh boy. We have to fear the Lord, have strong confidence in him, and our children will have refuge. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has hasty temper exalts folly. And that's what we were talking about earlier. There's a couple of these themes in here. We're going to see all these connect here in just a sec as we read through it. All right. Whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker. How many people are doing that these days? Man, I mean, people all over are scrimping and saving and trying to get here and there. They're just having trouble doing it. but some other people sometimes are oppressing those people. All right, hard to define a poor man these days, but I guess it has to do with the level in comparison to other people, and that probably is it. We don't define it in terms of having food or not having food. People have food, they figure it out. America is full of food. There are some people who still go hungry, and we need to reach out to them. But there are so many opportunities for people. It's crazy in the United States. But he who is generous to the needy honors him. Honors who? Honors the maker. Right? Generosity. And there's also work that comes with some of this. So it's interesting. Let's read it all out, see if we have any closing remarks. Proverbs 14. The wisest of women builds her house, but folly with her own hands tears it down. Whoever walks in uprightness fears the Lord, but he who is devious in his ways despises him. By the mouth of a fool comes a rod for his back, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. Where there is no oxen, the manger is clean, but with abundant crops come by the strength of an ox. A faithful witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, but knowledge is easy for a man of understanding. Leave the presence of a fool, for there you do not meet words of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way, but the folly of fools is deceiving. Fools mock at the guilt offering, but the upright enjoy acceptance. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that seems right to man, but its end is the way to death. Even in laughter the heart may ache, and the end of joy may be grief. The backslider in heart will be filled with the fruit of his ways, and a good man will be filled with the fruit of his ways. The simple believes everything, but the prudent gives thought to his steps. One who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and careless. A man of quick temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is disliked even by his neighbor, but the rich has many friends. Whoever despises his neighbor is a sinner, but blessed is he who is generous to the poor. Do they not go astray who devise evil? Those who devise good meet steadfast love and faithfulness. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their wealth, but the folly of fools brings folly. A truthful witness saves lives, but one who breathes out lies is deceitful. In the fear of the Lord one has strong confidence, and his children will have a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is the glory of a king, but without people a prince is ruined. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. Whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker, but he who is generous to the needy honors him. The wicked is overthrown through his evil doing, but the righteous finds refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of a man of understanding, but it makes itself known even in the midst of fools. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. A servant who deals wisely has the king's favor, but his wrath falls on one who acts shamefully. Friends, each of these is real good. The one that I pulled out, I highlighted midway through. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Ooh. That means we need to take action because we're going to learn something. But if we sit there and think and just talk, no. Now, each of these Proverbs, again, there are a few different ones that kind of are a little different. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. And there are a few of these. Each of these, though, simply are nuggets in and of themselves. But this is the one that I pulled out. After it all, that really spoke to me. In all toil, there's profit. That means JB has to get to work. That means I have to stop my talk and start my walk. Get my action together. But mere talk tends only to poverty. We all got to do that. And guess what? JB is on the march. We're moving. Now, my friends, you're going to have to... That's a lot of talk. Where is the action? Well, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. So let's not stop. Let's stop talking about. Let's start at the action. So we start the action by stopping this segment, and we hope that these proverbs bring you wisdom, bring you insight, bring you understanding, the things that God wants you to know, the things that are going to make you and or break you, with the lack thereof. My friends, this is JB. And I'm here coming, bringing it to you, bringing the wisdom. And I hope that you can take something from this and make it happen. Take good care, my friend.